Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela, everybody. So, kind of quiet today. I did not get the message out very fast, so there's probably a lot of people that didn't get alerted. But you know I'm always here at the same time. Okay, Shari D is in. She's first. Welcome. Mandanimal, Joe Bloor. I think that's everybody for now. Other people. Austin 108 will probably come in. Other people will probably come in a little bit late because they know I'm always late, so I apologize. I'm more late than normal this time, though. Shari says she's so exhausted she wants to crawl back to bed. I actually feel like super tired last few days, but I thought it was just because I'm setting up shelving and carrying heavy stuff all day, and I'm still doing my normal work. So, I mean, that could fully account for it. But what is it about the moon? It seems like it's been full for like a month or like a week or something. I keep looking, going, oh, it's still full. So it's not quite full now, but it still looked full for a long time. It was weirdly yellow today too. I don't know if it's because it wasn't that close to the horizon, and I know it's getting weird colors near the horizon, but it had this creepy yellow glow to it today, and then it was almost full. So I'm trying to have a better attitude about the moon because I used to like the moon. Rose, aka Yellow Rose of Texas. Oh, okay, you're talking about some other yellow. Okay. So yeah, I used to love the moon, and then after the Mandela, I'm like, the moon is creepy and fake. But I'm just trying to look at it and go, well, the moon is a symbol that anything is possible because if the moon can change orbit and people not notice, then and start spinning around and all this crap and people not notice, then like anything's possible, right? So Renee Cruz is in. Yo's up, UFO community. We're really Mandela effect community here, so I don't know if you know where you are, but that's where you are. Are you just here to spam the site? Because this is not a UFO site, so you might want to go where your message is more well received. Okay. So, I'm pretty disorganized. I was going to come home early and check all the messages for all the new Mandelas. And then I did come home early, small miracle, but the computer was acting up. I had to reboot it. By the time we got through with all that, I didn't have time to check any messages. So we're just going to go by some stuff I had from last week and some stuff I found, but not that much from you guys. Okay, this one was interesting. I saw two of them on Retconned earlier today. One is by the Galaxy Eater is the user, and that person posted, in this reality, Tesla invented the radio, not Marconi. So that's interesting, very interesting. Tesla did not invent the radio, but I swear the Tesla concept just keeps growing and growing. So here we go. Nicole, who invented the radio? Nikola Tesla or Guglielmo Marconi? Have I ever heard Marconi's first name? That Guglielmo. I don't know about that one. Okay. Are the two main competitors? Tesla may have got there first as he demonstrated a wireless radio in 1893. But Marconi got the first wireless telegraphy patent in England in 1896. I don't see how getting the first patent makes you the inventor. Tesla filed for patents for his basic radio in the USA a year later and got his patent in 1900. The U.S. Supreme Court made a decision to give the title of first patent to Tesla instead of Marconi in 1943. Marconi was the first person to transmit signals across the Atlantic. Well, who cares about if you transmitted across the Atlantic? So, I mean, it really looks like Tesla is the winner here. There was never a question before. It was always Marconi, but Galaxy Eater's right. It's Tesla now. So the Tesla story, I mean, like, what did he invent? Like everything now? I mean, he's going to invent like vaccines next, I hear. Marconi and one other person invented the radio at the same time in a different country, but Tesla was not that person. Yeah, Art Generica, woo, early today? Early meaning 12 minutes, a little after, but you're almost early compared to my normal rate of getting here on time. Jordan Peele's new Nope movie. Okay, we already covered that. There's not very many of you in here, so I'm used to reading further back. All right, so there's that one. Marconi did not invent the radio anymore. And this one over here is not exactly a Mandela. Let me see if I can find that sucker. Oh, here. This one is from user Sweet Standard 7631. This is kind of a new thing that's going on. Like reality is not complicated enough. So I don't know if you've heard of LARPing, LARP. It stands for live action role play. So originally LARPing was more like people would dress up as their favorite movie character and play out some of the scenes or pretend they're in it. And then it kind of spread to Reddit where they had, this is a one, for instance, that is, so this is a classic LARP. Birds aren't real. So everybody who comes here, just we all pretend that birds aren't real and that we believe it. I don't even know how. I actually just know what to do because this is the first LARP on Reddit I was on. But I guess because it's so ridiculously corny, I just kind of, oh, this is just, they're joking. But everybody is so effing diligent on here. Like, there's how many people are on this dang thing? I mean, it's 445,000 people are subbed to this list. There's more that visit. There's 94 users here now. This is a huge freaking sub. And all we do is just pick up, like post pictures where birds are acting strange, and then we say something like, here they are charging themselves, or here's one with a defect that needs to go back to the shop. But then if you read, like, every comment is like that nobody breaks character. It's just crazy. And like, there's even people have cars now that have it plastered, like written on the car, birds aren't real. I'm like, there's a point where I'm like, everybody is live action role playing, right? I mean, it's so ridiculous that I assume so, but okay, so what does this have to do with the Mandela? All right. So apparently somebody's trying to start a LARP, a live action role play with a Mandela by saying there's a Mandela that there never was. It's like a meme / LARP / fake Mandela. And so what they just started saying was that there was a character on The Simpsons called Graggle Simpson. And there wasn't. No, nobody actually remembers it. As far as we can tell, it's a LARP. And officially, it is a LARP. But fake meme, it's like imitating, hoaxing the ME. So are they trying to create a Mandela? Is there really a Graggle Simpson in some timeline, but nobody here heard of it? So people are like writing in, like drawing in and editing in this Graggle Simpson dude in old episodes. So here's an example of it. So this, I guess, is Graggle Simpson. Doesn't wear clothes. I don't know. What does this mysterious, divisive, supporting character from The Simpsons have in common with Weird Matt and Gumbly? So apparently sometimes he's called Weird Matt, and sometimes he's called Gumbly, and sometimes he's called Graggle. Graggle might be the internet's favorite character on The Simpsons, but that doesn't mean he ever existed. So I have never seen any Graggle Simpson. I would certainly remember this. I watched plenty of Simpsons. So I don't think it's a real Mandela. Nobody's really claiming it is. Tweets reminding audiences about the famous supporting character of the series got tens of thousands of likes, with nostalgia for the character earning as much social media traction as The Simpsons season 33 finale. There's just one problem with this. Graggle Simpson doesn't exist on The Simpsons and never has. Despite people creating countless fake screenshots, Graggle, or Gumbly or Weird Matt as he is alternately known, has never existed. Blah, blah, blah. Despite this, the character is rapidly becoming one of the most popular Simpsons supporting characters online. The non-existent fan-favorite Simpsons character Graggle has been digitally inserted into classic Simpsons episodes and given an in-depth character history in an elaborate online hoax. The character's name varies, so those ones I said earlier. Okay. And further proof that South Park's claim that The Simpsons predicted everything consistently proves accurate, all of the hoax's iterations bear similarities to a classic episode of The Simpsons, this Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie show, season 8, episode 14. I gotta watch this show because I don't know what they're talking about. I might have seen it, but I just don't recall this Poochie show. I'm not claiming I've seen every Simpsons ever, though. Whether Graggle is portrayed as a much-hated late addition to the Simpsons cast, a long-forgotten character who was dropped due to audience disinterest, or Matt Groening's ill-fated self-insert, the non-existent character is always doomed to the same fate as Poochie. So, I don't know, did Poochie get killed or something? Graggle Simpson first appeared in a 2021 4chan post, which claimed that the character was a self-insert made by Matt Groening early in the production of The Simpsons. The post claimed that Graggle was eventually written out and dubbed Weird Matt by the rest of the production staff. Obviously, all this origin story was an urban myth. However, another early incarnation of the character called him Gumbly and claimed that he was a new addition to the family who only appeared in recent Simpson episodes, prompting another poster to complain that the studio was digitally inserting Gumbly into old episodes to push the character on audiences. This in turn promoted another contrasting incarnation of the character as Graggle, a forgotten Simpsons side character who has been dropped years ago due to unpopularity, but who now is making a comeback. I don't know what to think about this, but this is like, is there going to be... Maybe it won't be Graggle, but are we going to get another character magically inserted into The Simpsons? Is this a giant troll? Is there really a Graggle somewhere in the timelines? I don't know, but it just brings the whole reality strangeness to another level. So much predictive programming and foreseeing the future. Shift me out of all these horrible nightmares. Pretty long article for a late, too. Yeah, actually, huh? And I didn't even finish it. It was still going on and on. Oh, well, okay. I was close to feed. From viewers hating the new character for ruining their favorite show to the idea of a character being cut due to bad reception, right down to one creative figure having too much to say in their design and appearance. Most of the meme's iterations borrow some inspiration for how The Simpsons treated Poochie. How does this all, how does everybody just decide that it's all going to be related to some character called Poochie? I'm going to have to look and see if I've ever seen Poochie. Would it be not a trip if if nobody remembers Poochie, like Poochie's a new character? Because, let's see. Let me just look and see. Maybe some of these super uber Simpson experts can tell me if they remember Poochie. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen Poochie before. Have you guys seen Poochie? I don't think I've ever seen it before. Now, I don't claim to have seen every episode, but I have not seen that character before. So I don't know what to think. I'm going to need to have some input from you guys. Simpsons experts, have you seen Poochie before? Or did I just miss them? That was played by Homer Simpson. Found another Black Sabbath ME in a Metal magazine interview. The host was called the guitarist was calling the guitarist Tommy Iommi, but his name is Anthony Frank Iommi, and in our original world, his name is Tony. Huh? I don't know. Did they just get it wrong? I know Smithers was originally black, but I can't remember this weird dude. Could be one episode. Who knows? Don't think it's a Mandela. Smithers was black. I don't remember ever seeing Smithers black. Poochie is new for me. I feel like I've seen him, but not in The Simpsons. It reminds me of a detective dog. They throw him in, the Homer Simpson plays his voice, and then they kill him off. Okay. So how many episodes was Poochie in? Just to be curious. Is a character on Itchy and Scratchy's show. A cartoon dog with an attitude. Poochie has a song. Homer was chosen to provide Poochie's voice. The character debuted to an unreceptive audience. Okay, I get it. Following a massive publicity campaign. All right, so looks like he was in one main episode, was killed off. Despite his death, he made a brief non-speaking cameo in the Itchy and Scratchy episode, The Tears of a Clone, at Scratchy's funeral, hinting that he revived or possibly a continuity error. He also appeared in the episode The Passion of the Christ, appearing on his skateboard with a halo and cross and saying, "And then this happened." He appears periodically on merchandise. Looks like it's merchandise in the show. Okay, so one main episode. I don't know, and so if you really have seen like every episode and you don't know Poochie, that might be kind of interesting. Okay. The other one I had on the thumbnail, I put this one on. I've had it before. The Crooked Forest. Poland. Somebody brought this up last week. that was Hobo Days. So good find, Hobo Days. So I have looked at this before, but it looks like it's kind of grown, and there's a couple interesting things. So first of all, I only remember seeing like a couple trees like this before, but now there's a whole bunch of them. A lot more images, a lot more angles, but I'm scrolling down to look for a specific one here that was in the thumbnail. That's the edge of it there. I guess that would be good enough. Because last time I looked, this one was not here. So you can see that that tree is totally normal, and then its offshoot grew all weird. So I looked this up in the wiki. It's in Poland. There's a grove of these that they say was planted in 1930. So that's what, like 90 years ago. So my first feeling was, do these look like 90-year-old pine trees to you? Because they really don't to me. They just look like they're 20 or 30 years old. This little offshoot here, it's, I mean, do they have really weird, lazy, slow-growing pines in Poland? Because I thought, you know, every time I see images, there's plenty of green grass. Looks like it gets decent rain. I don't know of any pine trees that grow that slow. Frankly, like a 20, even a 10-year-old pine might be as thick as these things. I can't see these being 90 years old at all. Not this one. So apparently there was something that happened during one phase of the growing. But see, then this little shoot here, that shoot does not look the same age as all these others. It looks younger. It doesn't look the same age as those. So the whole thing is a little confusing. So one theory is that like people were coming in here and bending these to use them for some kind of furniture use. But there doesn't seem to be any evidence of cut down ones. So they would come here and they would keep bending them, but not like use any of this wood in the entire time. Seems a little strange. So supposedly this is surrounded by straight trees. So there's like just this one area is the curvy ones. And I don't know, it's just not holding up to me. But especially it's not because of this claimed age of 90 years from 1930. That is the main thing. The other issue is that there weren't that many of them last I looked, and there wasn't like this one that has the straight trunk and then the curved offshoot. So very suspicious to me. Something's going on with these. So I've been hearing some mumbling about trees perhaps following electromagnetic field patterns when they grow. So it could come out that some kind of a story that the EM fields are erratic here or something happened to cause the EM fields to be confusing to the trees, and then they grew, you know, suddenly that way, thinking like that was up or something, and then suddenly reversed. I don't know. Because these ones all look like they were going straight up, and then they suddenly went that way. This one looked like it just, I don't know. I don't know. There's just something weird about them. I thought they were bent like that for building ships. I mean, that's kind of the storyline, but like I said, first of all, I don't see how they're 90 years old. Second of all, I don't see any cut ones. So if they're building ships, they did all that. Apparently, they did it at different times, because this seems like a lot younger than these. So they're coming back and they're bending them, but they're not like using any of them, even though there's got to be 10, 20 years between that one. Like, well, at least like 10 years between that one and that one. Where's the cut down ones then? Recently saw a tree like this in the forest. It's weird. They are perfect shape to make bows. Yeah, Are they the perfect shape to make bows? Those would be some big bows. Let me go back. Now you've seen the weird one. There's ones where people are climbing on them. It seems to me like they would be bows for giants then. Because when people climb on them, the curve is huge. Now ships I could kind of see. This thing takes a year. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a... I don't know if I want to use that one. Okay, let me see. There's one where everybody's climbing on them, so you can really see the size. Of course, now I can't find it. Okay, so you can kind of see that this one here, it's behind her. So it's going to be even taller than that. It's got to be, this bow thing has to be like 5-6 feet here. And some of these over here are even bigger, like 7-8 feet. So bows for ships maybe, but I don't know. What ship has a little tiny, like that's a tiny ship now. But it's too big for like bow and arrows. But what ship has that's just 8 feet? That's a tiny little ship. And then they kept bending them, but they didn't use them. I don't know. It just seems weird. Some of these back here look like tiny. Look at this one. Those tiny little offshoots. There's no way that weird shoot there is. I mean, it looks like it's less than 10 years old, frankly. I don't get it. These ones back here, they're too tiny. They're too thin. Something's off. The reason for it was a huge explosion or meteor. The only one I remember is the Tunguska, and it flattened a bunch of trees. They were all dead, though. They just fell over. So I had it on before, but I just found more stuff on it. See, that's the thing, though. Okay, if 90 years ago they bent them for building ships, but they never cut any of them down. But how come some of those look like they're 8 years old or something? And if they're still using them for ships, then how come none of them are cut down? Three thousand cows died in Kansas. They say it was the heat, but it sure sounds fishy. I did see that. 3,000 cows died in Kansas. I mean, like, I don't know. When are cows that wimpy? It just, I don't know. It doesn't seem that right. Like, I think they would just drink water and relax until they felt better. Maybe a few old ones would die, but usually these are young cows that they're, after a couple of years they're killed for food, so maybe the cows didn't have access to water. But I mean, like, who has cows that don't have access to water? I don't know of anybody who, I mean, cows require water, so they're going to make sure they have access. Now, if they said something like, oh, and the water system failed, but they didn't, there's nothing on there. So, I mean, if you didn't have access to water, you'd die too, whether it was hot or not. Of course, they have access. So, like, I'm in the desert Southwest. They range cattle here all the time, and a lot of the lands are just crap soil. You really can't grow anything. There isn't a lot of water, so they sink wells and have little areas of water for the cows. The cows memorize where all these are. They're not that stupid. So if they're thirsty, they just go over there and drink. and it gets 107 here all the time. And in the deserty areas in the summer, it's, I want to say all the time, but every year there's going to be days, and no cows die. I don't know, it just seems weird. Okay, so we got that one. All right, this is kind of an old school one, and I'm not really sure about it, but me and one other person remember a certain old time cartoon character a certain way. And then she, to us, doesn't look that way anymore. And this person is actually somebody who doesn't, who like gets the downloads too. So I thought it was interesting. The character is Penelope Pitstop. So you younger people may not even know who that is, but, and I have to say it has been a long time, but I remember, without looking now, just from memory, how, if you remember Penelope Pitstop, especially what was her hair looking like, what color, what style, etc. The other question I have is, what style dress did she have? Was there like a genre or something of style? Not like clothing style. Because there's two things I remember and that it's not there anymore. So just curious if anybody even remembers Penelope Pitstop. Maybe thirsty cows leaned on trees. I don't know. I don't know. Why are Brenda's messages retracted? I don't know. Let's see. I think she had to retract it. Message retracted. Yeah, it's something you have to do. Like if you change your mind or something. I'm pretty sure that's her voluntary retraction. Did you talk already about how just thinking about muscles makes them stronger? What? I'm confused. I thought you were just kind of joking, frankly. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, all of Brenda's messages are retracted. I don't know why. I didn't do it. I can't see it even myself here. I can't see the message. I didn't do it. And if you're moderated, I don't think it even shows. Like if she was on some kind of mod list. Yeah, I don't know. It must be something that evil YouTube is doing or something. Four-leaf clover's in. Tony Rain is in. Art Generica. Brenda Mitchell Inspired Journey is kind of in, but not. All right, let's look up this thing about the thinking of muscles. All right. What was it you think about? You think about strong muscles? Thinking about muscles makes them stronger. Thinking about muscles. So are we looking at some kind of placebo effect, or did they actually test the muscles and see increased size? Okay. Come on now. So the power of thought. This is interesting, but I'm curious, like, will you get 1% stronger or what? The team wired their subjects up to weight machines, which monitored levels of electrical activity in their biceps and asked them to think in two different ways while exercising. The more electrical activity measured, the more the muscle is doing. When subjects were asked to focus on what their muscles were doing and how they were working, they were significantly higher levels of electrical activity. Significantly. Now, significantly is a scientific term that means statistically significant, like enough that they think it's not chance. It does not necessarily mean a lot of difference. It could just be 1 or 2%. But when they were asked to visualize lifting the weight, electrical activity was lower. Okay, so thinking about what your muscles are up to gave more power than just thinking about lifting the weight. So you have to think about your muscles. Think about your muscles. All right, I'm going to ask this other. I'm going to check this other one too because it seems kind of vague. Thinking about physical activity tricks your brain into believing that you actually are moving. This can help you bring stronger muscles. Remember the iconic scene from Hook? When Lost Boys imagined the lavish feast and it magically showed up. And when it comes to brain activity, actual and imagined movements are very similar. The only real difference between them is the presence of an inhibitory signal. It turns out that 20 minutes is the optimal amount of time for a mental practice session. Any less or more, and the practice doesn't stick as well. Mental practice is a supplement. Blah, 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 blah. The heck? I'm still not like getting it. All right, I'm going to click on this link that they apparently got their stuff from. I don't know. I'm not finding the scientific article that really explains it. Let's keep our eyes open. We don't know if they sacrifice them for tax purposes or some type of disease. If I write in all caps, does it really trigger anyone? It doesn't trigger me. I know some people get all crabbed about it, but I don't really care. As long as I know you're just doing it because that's what you always do versus like being mad or something. Oh, and somebody gave me $5. So thank you, Jennifer Richardson. Elizalde. Elizalde. Okay, I did my best. I'm sorry. I always have to catch the replay. I'm glad to see you're here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Don't visualize. So, yeah, I don't know. It sounded like you think about your muscles versus the weight. Like my muscles right now are exercising hard. I'm actually doing the real thing this week, carrying the shelves and stuff, so I don't think I need any more exercise. Okay. Nobody knows Penelope Pitstop. No, Penelope. Okay, well, I'm just going to go over it really quick then. So my friend, he likes redheads, like natural redheads. And he always liked Penelope Pitstop because in his memory, she was a redhead with curly long hair. And that's what I remember too. And there's somebody we know that he nicknamed Penelope Pitstop because she wore these boots with kind of a high heel back that were Western style that we remember Penelope Pitstop wearing. Sorry, there's a hawk yowling outside or something. It was kind of creepy. Like that bird noise. Okay, so Penelope Pitstop, we remember her as having kind of curly, long poof of red hair and a kind of a Western style dress and kind of like a Southern look, maybe or something. And then like more like cowboy style boots with high heels. So and this character, this person that we know kind of dresses like that. She does kind of have long reddish hair and she does wear the boots with a little bit of a heel. And they were a little Western style. And she's kind of a spitfire, too. Well, we like her. And she doesn't even mind the nickname at all. She thinks it's cool. So the thing is that now Penelope Pitstop in the current reality looks nothing like that. I never saw this character before, and I don't know what's up, but this is the character. She looks like I don't know. It's just there's no red hair, and she looks more like I don't know that look. I don't know what that look is, but it's not what we recall. So it's just and these boots are just white. She does have the heel, but there's no Southern style at all there. With the blonde hair and the face is very. So we remember kind of like a cat eyes, kind of going zhoosh like this look on her, and now she's just got these round doe eyes. And we just remember her looking kind of like see, she looks like a spoiled brat rich kid here, but we remember her more like a Weisenheimer smarty pants, troublemaker, chaotic good kind of a person. And I've never seen this character before. This character reminds me of somebody on Scooby-Doo, frankly. With that look, that's not our Penelope. Blonde and red haired are very close. No, 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 no. And it was like curly. So, you can kind of see now that they have this scarf that's reddish, but that is just wasn't it. And, I'm just kind of a person that always pays attention to hair. I use hair to recognize people a lot. There's no freaking way I was confusing a red scarf for her hair. And her hair, and it was curly, like a big poofy, and I like that look. I don't know what the heck. Okay, so four-leaf clover remembers the red hair. Okay. Yeah, and the cat eyes, it's just a whole nother look. They said Reagan was missed. Ronald Reagan wasn't shot now? Is that what you're saying? He was shot. Okay, for me he was shot and it was near his heart but didn't get it. And then he walked part of the way in because he didn't want to look wimpy, but then he was feeling bad and they made him lay down. He almost died. Had a bullet ricochet and puncture a lung, break a rib, and almost killed him. I don't remember the lung puncture stuff though. I do remember that other guy got messed up. Brady got shot, brain damage. That sounds right. So what? Ronald Reagan shot. All right, let me just check and see what's going on. Ronald Reagan was shot and wounded by John Hinckley. Yeah, okay, it looks like that still happened. Shot in the chest. Okay, as far as I know, that's still my timeline. Oh, so somebody's timeline, Reagan was shot in the arm. That's interesting. Reagan being shot only got known 20 years ago. It was classified. Yeah, nope, not for me though. I don't know. They say Reagan was missed, but later came out that he got shot after he was out of office. Huh, okay, not my timeline though. Okay, so four-leaf clover, red and black. Four-leaf clover remembers the other Penelope. And you know, those white boots are bugging me too. She did not have goofy white boots. Ugh, that's not a very good image of it, but you can see it here. There, that's just wrong. I'm sorry. I don't remember this Poochie out thing on the top of the legs, but I could have missed that one. But frankly, I remember her having like more of a Western style trench coat kind of thing, not all the way down, but you know, that hung lower and like brown. I don't remember all this pink and this freaking car. I don't remember this car like this with the eyelashes and crap. I don't remember that look at all. It just wasn't that girly. So this other character, I forgot his name, but that looks about right. But she it's I don't know. It's making me crazy. All right, so Penelope Pitstop is different. I think we were trying to clarify what color boots she had, and I looked it up, and they're more like, wait, that's all wrong. All right, this one is from somebody I will nickname BK from the UK. You know who you are. Apparently, we have these ocean-going spiders now. They're huge and creepy and icky. That's all I have to say about these things. They've got tons and tons of legs. Ugh, deep-sea creatures that are effing terrifying. So, yes, they have sea spiders. Ugh, gross. You have to have a spider, like, every few weeks at least. So, we were kind of overdue for one. Here's a nice one. Sea spiders. This one's from Antarctica. Ugh. The stuff of nightmares. All right. Oh yes, this one's good. This one I should have covered last week. I found this one 2 weeks ago. So it looks like our little buddies over there on Easter Island have changed again. See if I can find a good image for you alls. All right, what do you notice? Oh, this is actually, I have not seen one with half his face missing before, so that's interesting. I do think there's something going on with the ears here. So before, they had like kind of big ears and then the ears kind of hung down. But now there's something on the ear that goes up above the eye. So let's see, my ear is here, so it ends like about eye level. But these guys have something going up here. So this isn't really an ear, and I don't remember there being like this curly thing on the top of the eye like that. So what's going on with the ears? They don't look like ears anymore, basically. That's one thing. That's actually, I just noticed that right now. It was something else that I noticed before. And maybe you guys can tell me what it is besides the ear thing. There is one other subtle thing, but there's one not very subtle thing. That is my main goal here. Ears look like dog tag. My ear ends way above eye level. All right, so let's see. Here is my ear. Okay, it is a little above the eye, a little, but it's not like way up here. Your ear doesn't end up like at the top of your head. African stretch. I don't know of I don't know of any upward stretching ear things. Have I missed out on that? All right, so look at the body though. What do you notice on the body? It'll help if I pull up the picture. What is different on the body? I'm going to pull up some other photos too. I'm starting to see more and more variation in these things. They used to be pretty much identical. Now we have, you know, one with the fat head. This one has a long head. The nose shapes are different a little bit. The lips have variation. This guy has no, I don't know if the back of his head fell off or what, but I've never seen any with that flat a head. Looks like another thing I want to say is that the nose has a very prominent, the nose just to kind of just form out of the face, but now there's this, like there's a big tube hose thing coming down, and then the snout, the nostrils. And from other angles, I also see the nostrils look really well carved out up in there now. Before it was just sort of like zoop zoop. So they're getting more carved out up there. And we've got the weird ears. So there's a lot going on with these things. Yeah, I remember the time when they were only heads without a body. Yes, and much simpler heads too. Their body looks like a human. Okay, that's kind of what I'm trying to get to, but basically the arms are now carved out. They didn't have separate carved out arms before. So this one's been kind of in progress, but basically they just kind of had a tubey body with minimal carve outs, and then they kind of got a little bit of a chest. But then the arms were just kind of scratched in, like they would have a scratched in, and then for a while it looked like there was a belt buckle down here, but then it turned out to be these fingers. But they were just kind of scratched on. But now we see that the arms have a separate identity carved out, and now we have a stomach thing going on here. So like, see, this one has a stomach and hips and stuff, and then the fingers are down here. So it's starting to look, stuff that was just scratched in is now basically forming out in, and now they've got like stomachs and stuff. So anatomically, that might be what you were trying to say. They look like people. They do now. They look kind of just like, the torsos weren't defined, and now we've got a chest, a little pot belly, carved out arms, and like the hip area is now over here. So that this has taken quite, it's actually a pretty big jump since last time I looked. I think I did mention the eyes were more poked out last time, but I don't remember this really organized hose-like nose. And from some angles, you can see that the nose is carved out. So yes, there's been a big jump on these guys. Oh, you know, that was one I was going to say, the neck. You're right, the neck. I forgot about that. There is now, if I show it from the front, you can't really see it on here, but if I show it from the front, let's see, let me find the right image of this. I think this one might be it. They have a defined neck now. So it used to be that the head just smoothed into the body, but they do have a whole separate, there's a body, then there's this like sudden trunk-like neck, which is really fat. And then the head. Now, I don't know if this is going to narrow down and we're going to, but there wasn't a defined neck before, even a fat one like that. And now you've got shoulders, coming out a lot more because you've got the arms there. So there's been a lot of changes. Square stomach is new on statues. Yeah. Yeah, Art Generica got it. Never noticed arms. Samir Unlu. These like these neck and they made longer and underlips. It's just carved. Imagine so. Four-leaf clover. Yeah, the bodies have been around for a number of years, but they were more simple when they first showed up. They've slowly developed into, the other thing I want to say is these bodies, I think, have gotten larger. So they used to be like a head with a little bit of body, but the body has just been slowly rampant. So it's starting to look almost anatomically correct now. Head's still a little large, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get more body. No more Devo hats. Yeah, that's a good point. So we had a lot of, there's one down here. For a while there was a ton of Devo hats, and then now you barely see them again. There's one, and it's way the hell down there. So, like, in all of the, okay, here's the, I don't think they could get rid of this one because I used it in my thumbnail, so they're stuck with it. These guys have to keep the Devo hats. Is it me or are they bigger than ever, these freaking hats? Look at that. I swear those are bigger than last time I looked. Those freaking hats are big. Oh my God, look at them. So this image I've had on before, you can see the difference in the ears. So, I mean, what is this? When these ears first showed up, they did look reminiscent of actual ears, but now they kind of look like paper clips or something. You can see some indent around the nose. Yeah, they look, this arm thing is bugging me though. They did not have punched out arms like that. So, yep. Yeah, the Devo hats seem to be going out of style. So there's the one image that I took for my thumbnail. Now, there were a lot of images that had them, and I just happened to pick that one as having the most in the smallest area. But now that's pretty much all that's left. That image has a bunch, and then there's this line of them, and there's only one at the end of that line now. And that's like it. So are we like shifting away again from the Devo hats timeline maybe? They came in, they're gone. Is this even legit ones? The hell, I've not seen that image before. Let me just check this out. All right, it seems like these are legit statues of Easter Island and Echo Park. Oh, okay, these are fake ones. All right, being built, so they have to be fake. All right, never mind. False alarm. I'm sorry for people who are new to the shifts. Either you just shifted here recently, but we've been watching these bodies form for a couple years at least now. So we're a little over it with the, now it's just more details filling in. Emoji remembers heads only. I know, they were heads. I always joke that I've been joking for years that it's the big troll. The Mandela effect trolls us. So there used to be only heads, and they turned into bodies and heads. The heads used to be bald, but now they have hair, giant hair, and the hair gets bigger because they say that those Devo hats represent hair, and you can see how big they're getting. So they turned bald heads into almost full-sized creatures with giant hair. They have moobs, yeah, man boobs. Yeah, originally there were no hats. Then there was a bunch of hats. And then now there's less hats. So I don't know if we're moving away from the hat universe or what. Next time they'll have bras. Yeah, what are we going to get next? What are we going to get next? We should take numbers. Now, I have been suspicious of what was going on under that potbelly for a while, and I thought we would get something a little more obscene, frankly, than hands, because it looked like a belt buckle, and I'm like, there's no way that there's gonna, knowing the timeline and how things have been going, I'm like, there is no way they're gonna not do something with that. I'm hoping for a close-up of just one. Well, here's the backs. We have not seen the backs. When have we ever seen the backs? Let's take an image of the backs. So the backs are, I have never seen the back of these things, are plain right now. Huh. All right. We're going to have to keep an eye on those. This one, huh. So it kind of looks like they're almost like they're cut out in place. I have never seen the backs of these things. It's almost like they carve them and then they just kind of gouge them out and clean them up, because the backs are really, really rudimentary right now. This almost looks like the body that I remember from a couple years ago. See how it's real simple? This is not the real them, but this looks more like how the body was. Not exactly, but... See, now this guy missing half his head. I have not seen that before. That one again, that guy. Or is that a different one? Oh, and then there's another one missing. This guy's got a flat head, and this has got a pointy head. It's just, the hell, man. I don't know. You can really see the necks on these ones, too. That guy has a weird white neck. Did they glue the head back on, or are they growing necklaces now? It looks like there is now some little thing between the fingers there. I think we're still going to get something down there. Freaking timeline just can't not be obnoxious. So the fingers come, man, the fingers used to kind of scoop around like this. Now, those are like the freaking longest fingers in the universe and skinniest fingers. What is going on with these things? These things they're looking less human now. Oh, you know what? The top of the head is all square now. I don't remember the head being like that. It's flat on the top. All right, let me find some more of these things. Man, it looks so different. All right, there's the back of one. Is there anything interesting on there? This image I've seen before. Yeah, okay. That's one of the things that was confusing me, because I do remember there being some scratchings on the back. Now look, the arms are carved out now. That was not the case before. So maybe they're going to say that the upper part was weathered. I don't know. This one's got a good view of the nostrils. See, check out the nostrils. They're all... You know what? That doesn't look human at all, does it? Look at the thick... It looks like a dog nose. I hadn't found a close-up view of it, but... So it's like there's this big, thick center, and then it curls like a dog nose curls. It's got a curly factor in there. That doesn't look here, too. So human noses don't curl around in a curlicue, and they don't have that thick middle. So basically, these things aren't looking human anymore. They look like goofy humans before, or symbols of a human, but once you start having dog noses and stuff... I don't think they're... So when the ears first came in, they look kind of human. But now they don't. Look at that. Ear still goes like way up in here. You can't see it real well, but... If they're not human, it would make sense that they have an ear that's like twice normal. I can see there's curl on that nose too. It curls around. It goes shoo. Totally flat on the top. I don't remember them being that flat-headed. A dog nose. Yep. Legs of, yeah, I'm wondering if we're gonna, we got the arms. So I think I saw a few where it was like they were kind of squatting, and there was like some small legs curled up under there. Are there no other ruins or buildings on Easter Island? So Easter Island is not abandoned anymore. So they didn't die out. The Easter Islanders didn't die out in this timeline. I don't know if everybody knows that, but the regulars here would know, I think. But so it used to be a grand mystery because the island was abandoned and there was just those heads, and then they guessed that maybe they ran out of trees. But now the island was never abandoned. The people, the Eastern Islanders, never were totally extinct. They had dropped greatly in number due to various historical, whatever, slavery and that kind of stuff. But they never completely went away. They have writing. They have their native writing. They have writing from ancient times. And there's no real mystery anymore because they never disappeared. So that's the other thing. If four-leaf clover is still here, Easter Island is not abandoned. It never was. So for me, the island was just, grass and heads, stone heads. There wasn't much else. See the backs of these now. I just don't remember them looking like the... I mean, are they going to be like dog people or something? I just saw this one again, and it suddenly from the back, it looks like a giant dog ears. And the face is kind of weird, and now it's got a dog nose. Now, this is interesting here. I keep looking at this, and I realize I don't think that this was the markings I remember before. So this actually looks like some kind of a thong, like that went between the legs and then across the hips here, and some kind of tie up or something. So it looks like they wore some kind of thong. I don't remember that being on there. There were other curlicues and stuff, but I don't remember though, especially don't remember those circles on there. So I think the writings on the back of this one have changed. All right, I'm kind of spacing out because I forget. Okay, I'm looking for dog. See, like, you have a big ear coming from the top of your head. That's more doggy. And it looks like a dangly thing. So it looks like there's something coming from here and dangling down. And where's the ear? That's not a human ear at all. I don't know. This is just, these guys are not human anymore. Oh, the biggest troll has to be that Egyptian god that looks like a ghost. Yeah. The thing with that is, though, most people didn't really know all the Egyptian hieroglyphics, but everybody knew Easter Island statues. So I'm still voting that Easter Island is one of the biggest trolls. Another one for me is the skunk used to have just one stripe. They were famously one stripe, and now almost none of them have that. Yeah, the backs had carving 2 years ago, but I don't remember that carving. I remember different carvings. A dog don't have pointed nose. Well, it's a dog person, obviously. Don't you read your manga? Yeah. So, yeah, they basically have G strings. So I'm kind of wondering what we're going to get in the front there where those hands come. With the longest, skinniest fingers you've ever seen in your life. They're like spider fingers. I mean, look at those things. That's not that's not right. They're spider fingers. See if I can find a close up of the fingers. Whenever you can't find something, that's usually the thing that is shifting. All right, I'll type in Moai statue. Maybe I'll get a different set of images here. Or not. Let's try this one. Whoops. Ah, I did it. Okay. All right, look at these fingers. Ooh, this is interesting. A bunch of these have the top finger. I don't know if you can see, but you got... All right, first of all the fingers are like the same length. They all, like, it just goes out and then they stop. They're ridiculously small, but this top finger on at least this one, oh yeah, on this one, and this one, the top finger is not a thumb. There's something going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess you could say it's a thumb, but basically it's the same length. They all come to the same length. And this one is just as long, except for it kind of goes like this. Boop. And it does stick out like it's a thumb, but it's like really the same length as all the other ones, though. So it doesn't have a little nubby thumb. This is not human fingers. There's no effort to make these human. Those are just, it's not right. And I mean, look at the palm is like really short, and then the fingers are like 2/3 of the length here is just finger. And you can see on a real hand, they should only be like half of it would be finger and the rest would be palm. And they don't have any real thumbs. They have a wiggly long finger on the top, which looks nothing like that. This finger would have to come all the way over here. These would all have to be, if my hand had my fingers coming out to here, half the thickness, and this thumb going all the way out to there, and then just suddenly cutting off here, that would be these fingers. So these are not, this is not right. And then you look at the ears. That's not how those fingers were before. But they were a little bit rudimentary, so you could kind of forgive some stuff. But they weren't this long. And they didn't come, so now they come almost to the center, and it looks like there's a little thing here now. So for a while it was a belt buckle shape. It was like a square. And then the square turned into these fingers. But now there's something back in the center over here. And I don't know what that's going to, well, you can kind of guess what it's going to probably be. But it ain't there yet. So my prediction, we're going to be in porno land soon on these guys. And you got the thongs. Yeah, you know, maybe it'll turn into a little thong thing, but I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yeah, you have a good point, Shari. They used to have the thick African lips. Now they have this kind of perky, skinny lip look. That's a good point. You're right. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, now I don't think that's a real one, but let's see if I can get... Yeah, okay, this one has really good resolution if it'll load. Now it's wallpaper, though. Okay, let's try... Pretty sure these are real. Yeah, you're right. Look at them. Look at they almost look like two records now for old people who remember records. Um yeah, that's different. Okay. And the nose is as wide as the mouth. Let's see. So, I mean, look at that nose compared to that mouth. So, you know, before they were so lazy in the carving that you just figured it was a simplistic version of a human. But now that the details are being cut out, what's up with this guy? He's got holes along the nose, choot, 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 like that. I don't know if that's going to become a thing or what. Now that you see all the details, it's harder to pawn that off as just being sloppy and simple. You've got this cannon-sized nose, ears that look more like a doggy. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's getting clearly unhuman now. Where's the thumb? Yeah, the thumb. There's no thumb. It just goes like this. There's a top finger that's really long and wavy. Excuse me. I think they still have the 5 fingers, though. They're just really weird fingers. I mean, like, they have 5 fingers and no thumbs. Nose rings coming. So there's definitely development around the finger areas, and something is going to, I think, show up there. Now that they have the little thong in the back, I remember when it was a joke that they had bodies underground beneath the dirt. I never heard that joke. By the time I saw the bodies, they were already bodies. But yeah, good point, Shari. They did used to look African. They don't now. Okay, this one, I almost made this the thumbnail, but then I was afraid that I would get banned for hate speech. Because it doesn't take much anymore. And even if they're not doing it now, who knows down the line. But, okay, so my friend Dave, who's a little older than me, and should have lived through the era of knowing what this meant, okay? And where I come from on Sagittarius Earth, people would do this all the time, and it meant okay, you know? And it's like, and it's weird doing it now because I did this all the time and it seemed natural, and now it doesn't. And I've noticed this for some years now that it just, suddenly nobody uses it. And then they started this thing saying that some white national group was claiming it means some kind of hand signal that they're racist or something. And so now we all have to stop using it because of those jerks claimed it. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense to me because it would be like saying suddenly thumbs up means something else than thumbs up, right? Okay meant okay. So you can't just take something and say, now it means what I say it means. Nobody else can use it. So I kind of thought Mandela was just using that as an excuse for why no one's using the okay anymore. But I was really shocked when my friend came in and he said, he goes, what does this mean? And he does the symbol. I mean, what do you mean? What does it mean? He goes, well, I saw this symbol and I was wondering if it's some kind of, somehow he got it in his head it was some kind of surfer symbol. Like, I saw this symbol and is it some kind of surfer thing? He didn't know what it meant, and that's like impossible. Everybody used it. Like I said, he gets the downloads, but it just flipped me out that he didn't know. And I'm like, oh, that means okay. And I thought maybe it would trigger his memory. No, he has no recollection of that ever meaning okay. He grew up in America like all the rest of us. Well, that are America, you know, like, I'm sorry, I know you didn't all grow up in America, but people that grew up in America should freaking know what this means unless they're like really young or something. And he's older than me, so there's no excuses. And I told him, I go, well, it means okay. It's the symbol for the word okay. And he just was like, well, it's some kind of surfer thing. I'm like, no, it just means okay. And I just, my brain was like, it's just not right. This is not right. How could you not know? It was okay in French before, but now it's 666 symbol. So okay means 666 now? So I was looking it up and I was going to make it like the image for the show, and then I saw that it has been officially designated a hate symbol. The hell? It's okay. It is not a hate symbol. So I'm like, that's why I didn't put it up. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to use that. That's hilarious that he didn't remember it. But now I got to worry that I'll get banned for using the okay symbol. Let's see. So they're closer to Native Americans, you're saying, the Moai. I don't know. I just don't feel like that's human. The spider fingers and the dog ears, and then you've got a nose with a huge fat middle and then a curly Q like dogs. And I don't know any Native Americans that look anything like that. And then red hair. How can it be a hate symbol when YouTube has an emoji for it? I know, but it was some, let's see. Okay, hand sign. I think that's all I typed in. I hadn't even gotten that far. I was just going to get the image search, and let's see if it comes up. Here it is, NPR. The first the first result. I'm sorry, I'm all spaced out today. You know what? I've just been working like a dog since a week and a half trying to get the new place ready. The okay hand gesture, commonly seen as a way of indicating that all is well, that all is well. It was the okay, yeah, it's just okay. Has now been classified as something else, a symbol of hate. On Thursday, the Anti-Defamation League added 36 symbols to its hate on display database, including the index finger to thumb sign that in some corners of the internet has become associated with white supremacy and the far right. I don't even know what group that, I've never even heard of any group using it. Given the number of white supremacists who have adopted it, he said it can now carry a nefarious message. Whatever. So, yeah, they have emojis all over town for it, but it's also a hate symbol to the white power movement. So, of course, every white person's not going to want to use it now. So I just felt like it'd be safer if I didn't use it, because you never know. Even if they're not doing anything right now, YouTube might get even weirder in another year. And they love to go retroactively and like ban you for stuff that was totally legal when you did it. It's weird when we encounter parallel universe versions of our friends. Yeah. Dave has, I don't know, he'll do stuff that from one timeline, and then a week later he'll be like, no, I never did that, and that was never the case. And it's stupid stuff like the Danger Will Robinson thing from Lost in Space. He used to make that joke all the time. And then one day, a week later, I made the joke. Like, every time something's dangerous, we go, Danger, Will Robinson. I did it one time, and he had no idea what I was doing. So, what are you doing? I'm like, the same thing that we've been joking about for 6 months. And he's like, what? He goes, well, that wasn't in the show. And I'm like, what? I was like, it's not okay. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay is not okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's ice where there used to be magma under the crust. So hell has frozen over. Okay is not okay. Bald heads are now bodies with hair. You can find straight up pornography on YouTube. Yeah, I'm sure you can. Okay, so anyway, okay is now not okay, according to some people. But Dave wasn't even being, political about it. He just had no memory of it. Like, even after I said it, and he had trouble believing me or something. I'm like, no, it means okay. And he's like looking at me like maybe I'm stupid or maybe I'm wrong. Are you sure? All right, I got one more, and this one is a little less pleasant, I guess. So I've been involved with dog training for like 30 something years. It's an informal thing. I love doing it. I'm always reading on it. I have never heard of this. I've also never heard of 3-month-old puppies being aggressive on like something that would happen often. The youngest puppy I've ever seen be aggressive was 4 months old, and it was a breed that is known to be aggressive, and that is not Pit Bull. It is Shar-Pei. The Shar-Peis are some of the most aggressive dogs I've known by breed. Now, that's not to say they all are. There's definitely some very nice ones, but overall, that particular breed just seems like they really are little effers. More than half of them. So again, you've always got to evaluate a dog by its own temperament, because one of the nicest dogs I've ever known was also a Shar-Pei, and a very cute little tiny one. that was like a perfect Shar-Pei with perfect lines and a perfect temperament and no skin problems and perfect wrinkles. And his only defect was he had an underbite, so they couldn't show him. And he was the sweetest dog ever. But man, I have seen some really obnoxious ones. So 4 months old, I've seen a Shar-Pei aggressive, and the only aggression it showed was it was growly. It was growling at other dogs. I have not, it wasn't afraid of the other dogs, it was just being a jerk. That's the most youngest aggression I've ever seen. I've never heard of this thing called Littermate syndrome. And suddenly there was this article that a small child, I think it was like a toddler, got mauled and face was ruined by 3-month-old puppies. A litter of 3-month-old puppies. And there's no indication she did anything to them. I have just never heard of this. Littermate syndrome. So the story now, and I just can't believe I wouldn't have heard of this because I know more obscure stuff than this. Certainly, this is actually would be apparently is a big problem. So if you get littermates, and people did this all the time, I've never heard of there be a problem. Say there's a pack of puppies, a litter of puppies. So a lot of people I'm just going to take 2 of them so they can grow up together. Never was a problem. It was always great. But apparently now they say don't ever do this, because they could have littermate syndrome. And what that is that they bond with themselves and they become like nervous without each other, nervous and clingy and like unhealthy attachments to each other and not to you. And they became nervous and aggressive and they don't develop right. And so they become dependent on each other, happen to any breed. And also, if it's puppies from another litter, but you raise them together from a young age, signs include excessive crying, whining, and destructive behavior when siblings are separated. Numerous behavioral issues are involved. Raising sibling puppies successfully can be difficult. They suggest you keep them separated a lot, all this stuff. I've never heard of this. So the story was that some little toddler, they weren't watching the toddler right that second, and their litter of puppies that was like, I don't know, it was like 3 of them or something. They grew up together and they were 3 months old, which is way too young to be showing aggression. Had apparently attacked her and bit off her ear and poked out her eye and a whole bunch of nasty crap. And I just have never heard, and they're like, oh, well, it's just littermate syndrome. I'm thinking these are demon dogs, They're, oh, no, it's just littermate syndrome. I'm like, what the hell? I just, So they say now that you need to separate them in from each other at 8 weeks old and not have them spend too much time together, and we should just get one, and then let that one grow up and then get another small, young one. Don't get them the same age. Don't let them grow up. I've never freaking heard of this. It's flipping me out. Training it, it was a common thing. Everybody would just, they'll have friend. They won't be as lonely. Nya, nya, nya. I'm just like, what? All right, I'm not even talking to you, Samir, about that one. I've loved dogs, always had dogs, but I'm not a great dog trainer. Well, just make sure you get easy dogs that are pretty obedient. One of my friends has one of those. He can't train his way out of a paper bag, but his dog is the nicest, sweetest, easiest dog you've ever seen in your life. He only has 1 or 2 bad habits. And I was able to train him out of that in like 5 minutes. That's how easy the dog is. It's just that his owner has no idea how to train him. I'm like, well, all you have to do is say no, quit it. And the dog's like, oh, I'm not supposed to do it. Oh, okay. I'm like, I fear for him if he ever gets another dog, though, because there's not going to be any other dog as sweet as his dog. I saw that article. I've never heard of Littermate syndrome, and it makes, yeah. And they're acting like it's just this, everybody knows you shouldn't get two of the same litter. I'm like, what? No, I don't. I've never even heard of it. Everybody did that. Oh, yeah, beam me up, Scotty's gone. Yeah, that's such a trip. Yeah, and the I'll be back accent. He does less accent in this timeline. He doesn't sound goofy. SDS. I don't know. They are making up syndromes in this timeline, but I'm looking at the dog trainer sites and they're all going, "Oh yeah, littermate syndrome, never do this." And then I'm like, "What?" They're acting like it's old thing now. If it was a brand new thing, I don't think I'd find so much like never do it. That's what they're not saying once in a while you may have this problem. They're basically saying never do that. Littermates make the best vote, but I vote it was demon litter anomaly. Not, yeah, I don't know, but dogs might be different in this timeline. So yeah, so that's the thing. I can't imagine it's such a big problem. Everybody does that. They're like, oh, they won't develop right. So they're saying that if you keep them together after about 8 or 10 weeks old, when normally, I guess the story is normally they would split up in the wild, but I just don't see a 10-week-old puppy being ready to leave the pack anyway. They would still be in the, and dogs are pack creatures. So wouldn't they stay in a pack? And then they're saying that the weaker of the two will become dependent and fearful and won't develop any independence. But they said even the older one or the more dominant one will still show some of the same problems. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me because they're pack animals, so they should be able to grow up in a pack without a problem. And attacking somebody at 3 weeks old, 3 months old, attacking a child and being aggressive, I just don't get it. Anyway, so that's about it for me because I didn't look at your guys's. I'm sorry. I'm just so spaced out today. I've just been working so hard. And my brain is faltering. I was just working like normally I do some exercise during the week, but I don't work like carrying heavy things like all day every day. I used to do that a long time ago, but I haven't done that a long time. So muscles are hurting. And it's like, and I'm still working on the shelving. I haven't even started hauling the stuff yet. So wish me luck because I might need it. I'm hoping the actual hauling of the stuff won't be as hard as all the shelving. Alrighties. Anyways, time for me to go. So you know the whole drill. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.